So everybody here is like from a different area, right? And everybody, I guess, like in their personality kind of defines where they're from. You're from Louisiana and you're from Michigan. What do you bring here from where you're from?
Herpes.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Don't knock it till you tried it?
Right?
No.
Each their own on that one, bro.
I bring the Cajun culture, my art of cooking, which I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, but I make the best chicken and sausage gumbo you have ever tried. My spirit, my tenacity, and what Louisiana is most definitely known for. I'm full of shit.
As far as what I bring from Michigan, it's probably a funny accent to y'all. But with as many different places as I've lived, I kind of picked up a lot of different little nuances and quirks. You know, from there, I learned to work hard. And I always wanted to do something better. And like I said, since I was 8, I've always been trying to step myself up.
I got a question. It's a little more serious. You guys have a different point of view than we have because you've been home watching and you have information. You kind of know what's going on. I guess. Well, what you see out there is totally different than what's actually happening in here. But I want to ask both of you, if you could change about Utopia today, with all the information you have, what would it be?
Good question.
Let me have 10 seconds to
That
think.
is pretty deep. Well, then I get 15.
I'm like, someone's just start that.
Okay, from the very beginning, and I watched online the day they offered the premium passports to where you could pay and watch. And there was one thing that really disturbed me is that to me, the way the show was advertised was, and when I paid to learn how to eat crickets and worms and build structures out of straw and all this other kind of stuff, that whenever it actually came on, they did not say pick, religion or no religion, or will you do this, will you do that. It was easier than I thought it should have been. And I know y'all struggled, I know you did, but I just thought it would be much harder. That's why I prepared so much more for when I hopefully did get to come, which I did not know until 4 days ago. Wow. I mean, out of the blue, the phone rings and I'm like, I don't want to do another haircut. And it was them saying, you've been chosen. And I was like, oh, bowel movement. All right, thank you.
We thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Seriously.
What I want to say to that is that's one thing that the outside people don't realize is how hard it really is in here.
Right.
The work is actually easy. It's the 14 roommate suite that I have. It's the comfort.
mental.
Yeah, the mental. It's the mental, and it's really hard to portray that on TV.
Right. Well, y'all have done really well, though. I mean, really well.
Thank you.
And I'd have to say, similar to him, going through the whole audition process and all of that, I guess I had more of a different mindset of what it was going to be, and just the self-sufficiency of the group. To change something, I just think you guys kind of got dealt a bad hand with some volatile people in the beginning, and then dealing with 10 days sequester.
That is
For both of you, what is one of your biggest insecurities? It can be internal or external, and how do you deal with it?
I would say for me, it's failure. I've succeeded at everything I've done. I've tried to take on the most challenging things, as far as going from the Marine Corps to starting a business in a horrible economy at a horrible time with nothing but the grace of God and a pocket full of faith to leap out a window. And then for me, marriage has been the hardest thing. That's been really the hardest thing for me to just deal with, because I was single for so long. I just set in my own ways, owned my own business, did what I wanted to do. That has been the scariest, but also the most rewarding thing I've done. and just not to fail my wife, not to fail my God.
Thank you.
Trust. Most definitely. It is very hard for me to trust. My parents, the church told them when I was 13 that I was too feminine and they had to beat me to make me stronger until I was old enough to check in and go through the anti-gay conversion therapy. And there it was electroshock, ice baths, sleep deprivation. They beat me with the Bibles, literally, beat me to get the demon out of me. After several months, and it wasn't working, they sent me home. I was in the 9th grade, and my daddy pushed me out the door and locked it and left. He told me to go, just go. And so I've been on my own ever since. A year later, I already had an apartment. I was working my ass off. My brother is autistic. He's a little bit older than me. And it got to me through my family, my aunt, that Dad was putting him in a home. And I could not let that happen, and my brother has lived with me for the past 30 years. And coming here today is the longest that he and I have ever been apart. And I miss him.
What's your brother's name?
David. And I have to tell you that he has the biggest crush on you.
Everybody like your
There's a reason why.
Yeah, I'm saying. Make sure we understand that.
If he watches, he knows what a pain in the ass I am, and he's prepared for it. So I'm trying to talk him out of it.
No, he would just say, James, deal with it. That's my part.
How do you guys?
That's heroic of you, I just want to say.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
You see, we have like a lot of conflict in here from time to time. It's not like super duper intense, but okay. So it's sometimes like super duper intense, but how do you?
Super duper?
Super duper. That's real. That's like really really hard. How do you guys handle personal conflicts and then conflicts within a group?
Define personal conflict.
Personal conflict,
Please.
like for me, one of my biggest issues was my anger. Like I blow up. When I first got here, I was like really bad and I took it over. And now like the way I fixed my personal conflict is I started to actually talk to the people that I had an issue with and not just like talk out the issue, just talk to them, like get to know them better. And then that brought me back down a notch.
May I go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have the most anger inside of me. After everything that's happened here, and Hexon, you talked about with the drinking and then the anger, and then Rob had talked about wanting to just let things out and all that kind of stuff. With all that's going on, especially now with gays and people of color, transsexuals, lesbians, and the laws that are coming up in 2016 and probably at the 4th next month, there are going to be a lot of changes. And the thing is religious liberties over civil rights. Is gay marriage a civil right, or is blocking it a religious liberty? I know that's not part of the question, but here is the answer. Who the hell has the right to tell me at 47 years old, for everything that I've been through, you don't deserve it because you're not enough? That's my anger. How I deal with it, I grind my teeth. I bitch, I scream, I yell, I get protest signs, I picket, I put myself out there. How I handle group conflict, if I see something's coming and I can diffuse it, I will. If not, I'm gonna run like hell.
Good answer.
As far as myself, you know, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was very angry, man, just breaking them off the handle. And it took almost a good decade to get over that. And I was really into drinking heavy. I would drink every night, and that's how I dealt with it. But I just kept pushing it down. And when I was finally out in Wyoming, I had gone to church and listened to the pastor. He gave us a homework session, you know, read through Proverbs. And it started from there. And once I dug into his word, it helped change my heart. And through that, you know, I could see through my life to where I was running from different things and just always a constant circle. And for me, when it was, I gave my trust back to God, rededicated my life, and just jumped out of a window of faith. And I've been extremely blessed from it. It has been not hard, it hasn't been easy. It's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but it's just, I'm a much happier person. And, you know, 10, 15 years ago, I'd have been sitting down here looking at James, probably doing the same damn thing that he had to grow up with and suffer through. And for me, it just turned to where it's not about judgment. That can only be for God. My mission is just to love people. And I say, you know what? You want to get married, brother? Go for it. And as far as personal conflicts, they don't scare me. I thrive on it. I poke the bear. I giggle. And, you know, if somebody's getting really out of hand, when you see this chubby bastard coming at you going, do you want a hug? You want me to hug you? I'll just grab you and hug you. And when you can't get away, I'm just going to hug the hell out of you.
I gotta tell you, I think Nikki will like that hugging thing.
You give me
start
a
fights
massage.
with you a lot.
And we get a massage.
So no, you know, conflict is always going to happen. It's always going to arise. But I am a common sense, logical kind of guy. People to shreds with my words and my tongue. And that's just not who I want to be anymore. And, you know, I'd rather see it resolved friendly. We all have to live in the same little confined area. And for me to be stuck in one spot for longer than a day, that's why I do what I do, because I could get in the truck and go to 7, 8 different homes in a day. I start getting twitchy. So, no, I always try and diffuse. I'm not here to threaten anybody. I'm here to make them giggle, make light of it, and try and just love the people the best I can. And I'm not perfect.
Jeremy,
Yes.
how do you like to have fun?
How do I like to have
I
fun?
said stripping earlier.
Did
I just
you?
throw that out there.
What's that?
You like to strip?
Oh, when did I strip?
Oh, no. Oh, I thought it was serious. I thought it was serious when he talked about the stripping thing. I was gonna say. you
Oh,
got
the
something
tubby
to be sharing.
tantalizers? No, my fun, I guess my utopia is my family property in northern Michigan. It, much like yourself, James, I came from a very strict Baptist household to where my parents have never really seen any faith in me. But my grandma always did, and we got up north. And 113, 2 freshwater creeks blowing out of the yard, 5-acre pond, cedar swamp, oak forest. And for me, Grandma's awesome. You know, she was the one person that really had faith in me and just loved me for me, and it's crazy. So me, I love to be up north. I love to be in the family property. I've helped out my uncle and taken it kind of over with him. He owns it, some of the bills and stuff, keep up maintenance. You get me up north, sit down in a chair and just look at my pond. Look at my pond and just relax. And I'm also a very avid shooter. Built my own gun range up north, so pistols, rifles, shotguns, skeet. If you can shoot it, I do. Also that. So for me, fun.
Rob would have loved you, man.
Love to go up north, and that's where my heart is. It's just on that property, and that's where I want to die. I want a Viking funeral, build a little ship, send me out there, shoot a bow and arrow, light me on fire.
I can help.